What's good with it? It's your boy Simon Phoenix. This is Shots Fired. What up? What up? What up? What's good with y'all? Well, your boy fresh off vacay. That's the reason why we didn't have a Thursday and Sunday night show. That being said, the vacation was good. Your boy had to get out there and stretch his legs. Let's just say our vacation was sponsored by Pizza Rock. That's what I drink the whole time. Anyway, as your boy normally tells you, I've reached in my magic bag, had to get me a guest. But what I wanted to really do was have a coaching conversation more based around why you get into coaching at any level. So I started thinking about coaches I had to go and talk to and who I wanted to see. And then I thought about one of my very good friends who I feel like the spotlight ain't been on them enough. Eyes ain't been on them, but they have been winning on several different levels. So without further ado, I got Mr. Jeremy Glasco in the building.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for coming out.
You sound like Russell Simmons. God bless and good night.
I had to keep it short on that one, but yeah.
So I bring you on because I know you as a friend. I have watched you coach youth sports for quite a while, and I'm kind of curious how and why you would do such a thing. Like, I'm a person that I participated in that activity, so I know the ups and downs of youth sports. I know the ups and downs of the parents that come with youth sports and the politics behind the door. So I'm like, bro, you a coach. You've done it on every level. What the hell made you get into coaching? What made you say, let me get out here and get my Pat Riley on. Let me get out here and get my Chuck Daly on. Let me get out here and get it going, right? What makes you do that? What makes you go there?
It didn't really dawn on me first year or so. It was more my son played. Opportunity was there for me to be available and learn. At that point in time, what I didn't realize, though, was that there were gentlemen who were giving me an opportunity. So it was like, I didn't realize, you know, how you retrospect, you look back.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until I did that I realized, because for a while I always looked at it like I was just there 2 years and I didn't really do much.
You didn't feel the energy of you being active?
Or that I didn't feel that I actually made a difference, so to speak.
Okay.
Well, I say that because once I got to Garfield and I had an experience where I was able to teach a kid something, and I saw him as he looked at me when the light bulb went off. When he understood what it was I was saying, when he understood why to do what I taught him to do, and when he realized, like, oh, I can do this.
So when he had the I understand this moment, you had the I can teach this moment.
Exactly.
Okay. And was that the fire? Was that, or should I say, was that the light? Was that the thing that somebody when there was like, and you was like, yo, yeah, we got action.
Yeah, because I had realized how hard it was for the gentleman, for the young man, to get to where he was getting to. And I understood once he got it, I had to look back like, man, it took a lot. Like, I had to teach him all week. I did a lot of this, a lot of that, confidence, build him up, move him over, show him this, break it down to one step. But you don't realize all that work you put in until you see that light.
Right.
So I've always took that with me. So yeah, I am searching for the next kid to look at me so I can see that light, but I just really, really enjoy the road to get to the light.
So it's the path.
Exactly.
Okay. for me, my situation is very similar to yours with youth sports and coaching and being involved in that life. Just so happened that the young lady I was dating at the time, her son was playing, and I was going up there, you know, like to pick her up or drop her off, stuff like that kind of activity. And she was like, "Hey, the coaching staff say they know you, blah blah blah. They want to talk to you. You should, you know, maybe think about coaching." Coaching? It's like, well, you know, you play football. Play football, girl. Girl, you know who you talking to? Yeah, play football. I was on the team. That was about it. I was the dude that showed up because my homies played. You know what I'm saying? My boys was there. I wasn't playing football because I was like, yeah, so, you know, when I played high school football, I had 17 tackles in one game, 3 sacks, and a touchback. That was never me. Mine was like, I got in the game for 5 minutes. I got 2 tackles and ran over twice. I'm not doing much. My jersey's clean, baby. My jersey's clean. Why would you ask me, the coach? And the next day, she's like, well, you know him. So she goes up and she goes for the introduction. Before she does, she's like, oh, his name's Ed. I was like, Ed? I mean, I know a couple Eds. I know a short Ed. Coaching football? So flabbergasted the whole time, right?
That's funny to me.
So anyway, she's like, well, here we go. So he walks up and we get to talking. And of course, I do know him. It is the short Ed I know. We get to chit chat and he explains to me, you know, he has a league within AYF and so on and so forth. And I learned about AYF, and people who listen to my podcast know I've talked to multiple people within AYF and people within Pop Warner. So as a person who's talked to them on that level, someone who's coached, I have a unique understanding of youth sports. Right. And I also call those games now because for me, that kind of helped push me into podcasting because I always wanted to do radio as, you know, hey, it's Friday night. It's your boy Simon Phoenix who's playing the hits, baby. That's me. That was the energy I always wanted to portray. I love that. So I kind of wind up walking that path in a strange way in life. And so youth sports is a big part of that. And my coaching role turned into, I had some 9-year-olds and didn't understand it. You know, I had to relearn. So I was reaching out to coaches that I knew that I wasn't going to play against, like yourself, because I know you're pointing at me so the fans can't see, but you're basically saying you should have called me. I'm your man's. Yeah. But I looked at it like you were competition. You were my friend. I'm not going to not be a friend, but you're competition. I don't want your help per se.
I get it.
And so what I did as a coach is I went out and I used the Seattle Seahawks technique for tackling because I wanted to teach my boys the best way to tackle. And I was their first experience with tackling, right? And so for me using that and then using the internet to go and find how Alabama runs their plays, and not necessarily their football plays, but running what they would do as their drill sets. So I look at that. I look at what Michigan was doing. I was looking at what high school teams were doing. And I was taking all of those bits and pieces. And then the kids I had weren't able to understand the playbook ahead of them. That the program that I was in, the playbook ahead of them was too advanced. And they didn't have a watered down version to hand me. So they was like, just work on skill set. Get them understanding the basics. Your job is the basics and their cardio. So I was like, okay, I could do that. And I then took all of that information, balled it up into a fist. And I then said, how can I get them to learn football consistently outside of me? Because if I only get you for 3 hours and I'm trying to get you to play ready, there's a lot of information to be had in a short amount of time.
No doubt.
And so what I did was I used Madden. I said, okay, we're going to run the I formation. It looks like this. Here's a picture of it. You can go to any team and go and find it. This is how you do it. And it's the playbook where you go to do that activity. And I walked them all the way through it on how to do it. And they all had Madden. And so I was able to run my offense that way. And then I was able to explain my defense and be like, we're only going to run these 3 plays in defense. And if you go to a 4-3, this is what it looks like. And I would give them a piece of paper, and I have the piece of paper so that you would start the defensive line. You have your middle linebackers looking that way at the paper. And then I would build a star around their position where they was with a line with their name.
Right.
This is who you are. So every time you play the game, be that person.
Yeah.
And now you'll know what you'll be doing during that play because this is your spot. And Madden does a great thing of when you're in a zone, it shows the area that you're supposed to be standing in and doing. Right. And so I use that as a building block to teach. And it was successful for me. But I felt like I was cheating. I'm just going to keep it 100 with you. I felt like I was cheating. And we talked about this earlier, and you were like, that's not cheating. You took the tools you had.
Exactly. You know, and it had a lot more to do with my mind state of it overall. So you had a program above you who had a playbook, and they needed you to come coach, obviously.
Right.
It just makes sense that they gave you what you needed. Now, that's neither here nor there.
Right.
But that's just my perspective of it. So in saying that, if I know, okay, Simon, my boy, hey, I got you like that. You doing what? Well, hey, is it working? That's the whole thing about it. Is it working? See, because the thing about football is this. Football is supposed to be fun. No matter what. The best way to have fun in football is obviously to win, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you can along the way teach a kid what effort is, like you were saying before, responsibility,
discipline, to be accountable.
You know, all those things that are traits that are strengths to young men in a positive community. You got to be able to express that and make them comfortable with that. Because thing about football is it's probably the only sport where you could use it to relate from athletics to any type of everyday life.
What I'm going to tell you is what I learned talking to other coaches in other sports is, nope, every sport. Every sport allows you the vehicle to relate it back to life because it's really based on the same core values of what you want in manhood, right? So every sport makes you be accountable for your position, where you're at, what you're supposed to be doing, and how you play that. You have to be respectful of the rules and the people around you. Now, the difference is this. Your passion for football gives you a unique look at it and its nuances. But having like Thomas Kelly, right? Tom, our guy. Me and Tom have had great conversations about sports in general and what they provide for you from a youth level to a high school level, from a college level, what you learn in each different thing if you're lucky enough to walk the complete path, right? And what Tom expressed to me now on the other end of that and being involved in coaching, what he told me was it for him was part of manhood. It taught him that, back to what I told you, those core things, because they continue to apply within his life and how he used them. And for me, mine wasn't football that made that light go off. It was being a Marine, but it still had the core things attached to it.
No doubt.
And so when those core things are attached to a man within manhood, it makes you a better man. Because if someone's telling you to be accountable, telling you about responsibility and your role in the world, it makes you more complete. And so, like I told you earlier, the next thing you add to that is then your purpose. Now, a person like you, I believe truly is your friend, that your purpose is to coach.
I don't see.
Because you find so much joy in it. Your eyes light up talking about it.
Yeah, it does, man, because, you know, it's one of those things where it consumes me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I'm obviously functioning.
Functioning coachaholic.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Functioning coachaholic for sure. But it's true, though. You know, like I was saying before we was talking, I watch a lot of sports talk. People sitting there talking. Ex-players, ex-coaches, ex-GMs, or just regular commentators just commentating. You got critics, you got so on and so forth. And I listen to a lot of people's opinions, and I also look at it from a perspective of how I love a particular, or what my connection is with a particular sport.
Right.
So on a daily basis, I'm keeping up with pretty much every professional sport that's available. I mean, if it's a game on, I'm watching it. So it's just because I have a
you're a sports
passion.
fanatic.
Exactly.
You're a sports fanatic.
Specifically football. So I'm saying that because I understand exactly what you mean. But at the same time, it's just, I look at a lot of lack of success, we'll say that, and how hard it is to wrap my brain around it. It's like, okay, this dude is in this position to do this, and I'm looking at this, my brothers or my peers, and I'm like complaining about this guy. Like, man, this guy's getting all this money to coach this team on the defense, and their defense sucks. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, man, this dude's too far back, blah, 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 blah. And as soon as I said it happens, and a guy sitting in the room with me watching, looking at me like, I'm like, man, because he got to do this, he got to do that.
But that's because you're viewing it from a coach's viewpoint. I'll tell you a funny story, right? How I was explaining to you earlier about how coaching youth sports, and it kind of snakes all the way back into my love of broadcasting and talking. Because I went from coaching to announcing youth sports. Right. Then I walked into podcasting because I got so addicted to calling the games because I was allowed to call the games how I wanted to. So I had a lot of fun calling the games because I was doing dirtbag stuff while I was calling the games. So I seen a good tackle. I was like, oh, number 35 just got a lead to the floor right there on the play. It's going to be 3rd and 6. Coming up. Wow. And so people would be listening to me call the game, and they'd be cracking up because they'd be like, you sound like a real announcer saying video game stuff at a public event. So it's more funny because it's nothing more funny than he's out of there. Yep. He broke all his ankles, and his mom's probably going to come out and give him a hug because he got shook up right there, baby. All right, touchdowns, good. Yeah. And I would do that kind of stuff because it's little kids football. No one really cares what I'm saying. Y'all not really paying me no attention. You're really watching the game. But when you catch what I'm saying, that's funny. That joy in that behavior pushed me back into this as a way for me to have my outlet.
That's what's up.
And so I think guys like you, coaching is your outlet to that energy. You that's your passion. Like, this is my passion. And you see it in everything you do. So you watching a game, and instead of you just watching a football game going, all right, yeah. It's 1st and 10. All right, I see y'all in a little 3-4. Okay. Oh man, I think they're gonna run this play. Average fan watching. And then the team runs, you're like, oh, tackle him, get him. All right. It's 2nd and 4. I need to tighten up. I need to catch him faster. That's the shit talking your average fan does. Coaches is something totally different. Coaches is like, hey man, whoever number 35 is, he need to take 3 steps up and squat right there. What is you doing? Why the coach ain't calling that? Hey man, y'all need to spread out. They're going to the outside. Why isn't that man sliding over? You're doing a different kind of break now. And that's because your passion is there. You see it differently. You see it almost as if it's in slow motion while it's breaking down. It is. And your mind is trying to do what you do when you coach a game, which is then what are you trying to do? You're trying to adjust. If you say, oh man, we ran the ball 3 times to the right, I'm definitely will go to the left normally, but I know this coach. He's going to account that I'm going to the left. We're going right up the middle. Boom, you get a touchdown. And in your mind, you're like, see, I knew it. I knew it. And I've had people who are in boxing say, we're still doing the exact same thing. Even with coaching, with how I just described those set of plays, that's them jabbing. I jabbed you. Now this person's going to expect this overhand left to come, but I ain't going to give you that overhand left. I'm about to hit you with that hook. You ain't expecting it. Bink. You out here like Nate Robinson. Night-night. Night-night. Sorry, Nate. Sorry, bro.
That's called shots fired.
That's what the show. Hey, I'm trying to get everybody to know, man. I sneak shots in on every show. That's how you do it. It's official with me. So I think those are how we view them, and we view everything through our passion. And that's how I know you deserve and should be a coach, and you're walking your path in life because you are passionate about coaching. You love it. So how about we take a little commercial break, and then we'll come back. And what I want to know with you is, what is the craziest thing you've seen with dealing with parents and coaching? That's what I want to know when we come back from the commercial break. All right. Is that good with you? Is you cool with that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just making sure. I ain't trying to call nobody mama out, but I need to know the dirt.
No doubt.
Hey, are you tired of having that upset stomach, that bubbly guts feeling? Then I need you to get with Tyrone's Gas X. That's right, Tyrone's Gas X is known to stop upset stomach, farting, wet farting, hard farting, bubble guts, squishy guts, and the runs. Please use as directed. Side effects may be hair loss, weakness of jawline, weakness of pull-out game, lip dick, and pimples. Tyrone's Gas X. Stop you from having that shitty feeling.
Okay, it's your boy Mo Better in the building. You know what it is. Simon Phoenix, Ashy Radio. Tune in, yo.
Welcome back to Shots Fired with Simon Phoenix.
So, as we come back, what I want to know is the craziest thing you've seen as someone involved in youth sports with parents.
Craziest.
Craziest.
I've seen a lot of crazy stuff, man. When you say crazy, it brings me to the mind of how an adult could actually decide to do something that they just shouldn't be doing in front of kids.
Okay.
So that's obviously like a violent type of deal.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. So you seen somebody get mollywopped?
Man, I done seen a lot. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, it's been situations where I done been in between certain mothers and I've had to maybe even take a few blows in the course of, what transpired. You know what I'm saying?
You caught a couple random shots because you was in the way.
Shots fired. Sometimes you in the battlefield, but see, youth football is real, man. It's real out here.
Oh, I know. Let me tell you.
Not on that tip, but like you just experience so much.
Yes, I think people don't really know, man. That even though you did, I'm come back to this now because I normally will let people get away. You did skirt around the craziest thing you've seen. You didn't tell me a story. So give me the story, man. Give me the story.
I mean,
give me one. There's one. You don't have. You look. We're not allowed to say their name. So if they know that's what they did, that's what they did. It's not our fault that you beat up Miss Johnson and pulled her wig off, but you did it. Yeah. So what's the story, bro? Come on with it.
The story, man. This little boy and his mama, and there was another little boy and his mama.
Okay.
So had a coach, decided coaching wasn't just enough for him. He wanted to do extracurriculars. Well, it's one thing. Yeah. So, that went down more than once, obviously. So when the two females ended up finding out, it was not good. Kids was there. It wasn't a game. It was a little scrimmage that we had set up with a Sister Park deal.
Okay. So,
but it was a scrimmage, but it was like
game atmosphere for that level.
Well, the setting, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the setting was like two inner city teams that's supposed to be big stuff. It's not a game because they don't play each other, but they get they finish scrimmage this week. So
yeah. We get a chance. For what a lot of people don't understand, when you coach or be involved with youth sports, a lot of times, like AYF doesn't really play Pop Warner teams. So if you're both inner city teams and one team is Pop Warner, one team is AYF, then you have to agree to scrimmage. They're not official games, but sometimes the leagues will be separated in that manner, and those teams want to have a chance to brag against those other teams. So that is the picture that we got going on. And you mean to tell me somebody coaching staff was like, I got a girlfriend and my son play on this team. My girl know I coach over here. That's what I do. But I'm so sexy.
Nah, bro. It wasn't even
messing with one of these mamas.
It was like he was the coach and he was the man. He was messing with like two different
mamas. Oh, so he had multiple. Oh, so he was like
on the same squad.
Oh, not even broken up by age groups.
No, on the same squad. Like two of his top three players.
He was smashing their mama.
Both the mamas, man. And when it hit the fan, we was at the scrimmage, and the other team from the other inner city came. So they came. They must have been 100, 150 deep when they showed up. Easy. Players, coaches, parents. Because it's a big deal. It's a scrimmage.
Right.
Don't count for nothing, but bragging rights.
Yeah, and bragging rights means something, especially in youth sports.
You don't want to take the competition out of sports. You know what I mean?
Well, youth sports is just something special. Like, if you don't know about it, go to a state like Texas. Go to a state like Alabama.
Southern state where they all year round. For sure.
Oh, man. And their youth sports go hard, though. I'm talking about Pop Warner games sold out.
Yeah.
Sold out. Stadiums for that. Let that sink in. Stadiums for youth sport football. That's kind of bread they bring in doing it. So the passion is there, and they have a lot of games that just be for bragging rights. And you go to the game, you swear it was for a championship.
Man.
It had that energy and vibe. So I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And it was one of them, and the one girl did something to show some affection towards my man, and the other girl saw it and said something, and before anybody could do anything, stilettos and wigs was flying everywhere. And it was all kind of curse words, and it was like lady clothing flying everywhere. It was like, wow.
I can't with you. That boy said it was stilettos and wigs flying everywhere.
Could you imagine like coaches and referees? Because we had like a couple coaches as refs, and fathers like covering up kids' helmets so they can't see what's going on.
Because there's boobies flying everywhere.
My goodness.
Yes, I can. It comes with youth sports.
Buck wild.
Welcome to youth sports and what makes you a bad coach. If you really want to know, like, those are things that make you a bad coach. When you can't keep your winky to yourself, when you out here trying to play, I'm that Casanova. When you're doing that, it's over.
Look, man, the main thing should always be the main thing when it comes to football. Like, I do hear people tell me and express to me like you have about my passion. It's obvious, right? But like the main thing is the kids.
Well,
like,
that's the reason you show up. Or should I say,
yeah,
I'm gonna be honest.
You said it.
I'm gonna be honest. You show up for the kids, and you show up for the love of the game. And they can be flip-flop. For some people, it's the love of the game and the kids, and some people, it's the kids and the love of the game. If those two have to be within your top priorities, when they're not, when you are the guy that showed up because your homeboy said, I need somebody to help me coach, and then you showed up and seeing that half the team mamas got big booties, and now you're trying to smash them, bro, it's going to be a problem. It's going to go left.
Big problems.
And so everything you say behind that, I can respect, because I know if you get to behaving like that, it's going to go bad.
You just shouldn't even, I look at it like coaching is teaching, and in a greater aspect of just life, right? As humans, right? Like teachers teach and do the world good. Kings just rule. Most have never understood. Garris One said that. I'm just saying it makes sense. I've been grasping that thought since 89. The point I'm making.
Thanks for letting us know you're old.
The point, well, of course, but you could probably hear it.
No, we can't. What you hear right now is a man extremely passionate about football and youth sports. That's what you hear. You hear somebody that's like, bro, I love this, bro.
I do, bro.
I see the nuances in it, bro. I'm coaching when I'm not supposed to be coaching. All of those things to me says you love this. You're being part of your purpose, your path in life, what you're supposed to be doing. Because my father always used to say to me, you don't go get a job. You go find something you love to do. If you do what you love to do, then you never work a day in your life. And that game right there,
real shit,
is why I chase hip hop down like a crackhead, why I'm chasing podcasting down like a crackhead, why I put so much time, money, and effort in doing this is because this is not my chance to talk shit. I love doing it. See, some people want to get out here and talk trash to people. Right. They want to tell them how smart they is. Right. I can guide your life. You know, them people. Man. I can have a dumb conversation about toys because I love chopping it up with niggas.
Right.
You know, and I try not to use the N-word, but that's how I feel because that's who I like to kick it with. I like when I go to work and I have people at my job that listen to this show. Shout out my man Scott.
Word.
That when I do shows, when I do this, I love this like you love football. So I'm trying to get to a level where I can interview Nori, so I can ask Nori crazy questions. Because Nori, what I want to know is
That'll be dope.
what I want to ask Nori is, have you ever been in the studio and you seen something so wild that you was like, I ain't rapping today, bro. It's over. It's a rap. It's done data, bro. I walked in and somebody was getting head in the bathroom. I like those kind of crazy stories just as much as I like talking to somebody who they got a business and they're really pushing to get their business out there, and you can hear the passion in their voice because they love that thing. I like talking to people that's addicted to that thing that they're chasing because they on their purpose.
No doubt, and it's infectious. You know what I mean?
It's like drugs, baby. It's like drugs. It's drugs.
It is, and that's the one thing that I could probably do more. And it's funny because that's probably the one thing I do that I'm not either self-medicating or doing some type of structural routine because of physical situations I deal with. Where I can just go and do that and literally, bro, be in another world and so into football and what I'm doing to where when I'm done coaching for them 3-4 hours, or if I'm, have a game all day, Saturday, even Sunday, some weeks, whatever, like I am not just physically exhausted, but I'll be mentally and emotionally. Like
because coaching makes you go through the roller coaster.
Don't it though?
It's nothing like that roller coaster because you start off and you spend a week, like break it down like this. You spend a week preparing for a team, right?
Say that though.
So you spend that week preparing for them. So as a coach, you start off and you say, okay, you're looking at what they do good, what they do bad. So you start to quantify that idea and say, okay, well, I want to do this. They're not good against teams that run to the right. We're going to try to run to the right. And then you say, oh, what they do good? Oh, they do this and this. Oh, they throw the ball and they're good for throwing it deep. We want to stop that or minimize that behavior. So you start doing that. Then you implement your play plan. You say, okay, this is what I want to do. And once you start doing that, by the time you get to the game day, now you've spent all that energy trying to teach these kids this stuff. And you get to game day, then you have a brain fart. Then you say, okay, well, I wanted to run this first. Let's run that. You run it, and now you have butterflies. Because you're hoping the kids do everything the right way, because any small mistake can go left really fast. All it takes is for the play to be going to the right, and your defensive end shoots the gap. Because he ain't been listening all week about you got to stay home. Don't rush into trying to get to the quarterback.
Now, see, what makes me able to adjust as quick and as well as I do, because I know that's really my strength. It's when I break down to it, it's 11 on 11. It's A gaps, B gap. Either you going here or you going there. It's really nothing else to it, right? But there's still a scheme. You got to respect an athlete. So, like you said, I do get a chance to scout a team or know ahead of time what they run. That's always a plus. Now, coming from my personal background, being in the city league, being in a different Rocket League than AYF or even Pop Warner, we didn't know who we was playing until that week, and we didn't know what they ran or none of that.
So you was going in blind
every week.
Okay.
So I've been coaching
from that perspective.
So now if you were to tell me, okay, Jeremy, we got Rockford, or okay, Jeremy, we've got Greenville,
and you got film or footage, you get a chance to go out there and watch them play.
I don't even need film or footage.
No. What I'm saying is,
like, I just need to know
I would like to see you in that situation.
Exactly.
I would like to see you in the situation where let's take you out of youth sports and let's put you into give you high school sports, and you get to see film. You get to see, okay, last week they ran this, the week before they ran that. We went to go see them this week at their game because we had a bye week, so we didn't play. So what can you come up with then? And that puts me back into, you would be in the scenario I was setting up, that those, you can do all of that and have all those information, and one little thing go left, and then the play skirts out. that it is going to the house, right? And as a coach, you know that you do get to watch your film and see what y'all was doing wrong. And when you get those glimpses of those things, that is part of your fixing and adjusting. Because then you go in there, it's kind of like how race car drivers talk about it. You go in there and you tinker a little bit. And so you're tinkering a little bit with the kids and be like, okay, bro, you did this. I need you to do this and see, this is the reason why. And the more you do that, which you have done because you've done coaching at so many different levels, this is why your adjustment game is so raw. Because you've been adjusting on the fly because you didn't have the film to know who you were facing. And then you are also adjusting because of the outcome. We did this. We need to do this. So it has made you excellent at seeing the situation and applying new information to fix it.
Exactly. And what it's actually done is turned me to more of, I don't want to use the word aggressive, but more of a controlling defense. I consider the defense, because I do defense. And I've defended every kind of offense you could think of at that level or that you could imagine. I know how to defend it all theoretically.
Okay.
What it boils down to is when it specifically the game of football. Well, I don't want to say specifically, but for me in the game of football is basically talent level. So being able to have all those things we just talked about, all those tools, all the equipment, you know, it's fine and dandy, but can you really get that message to that child? And the reason why I say that is because, as I said, at Garfield, we had no facilities. We practiced on the field with no lines.
Yeah, just youth sports. This inner city youth sports.
Yeah. So guess what that means? We have to teach the more important things about the game of football, like discipline, teamwork, being able to count on that guy to do that. So you
accountability.
Have to do that. Accountability. So those are the issues we have to push more, because there's no sense in telling and showing somebody exactly where 5 yards is before you cut if you don't even know why you couldn't.
Right.
So with or without the lines, with the hardware that we got stacked up over at the G house.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's one thing I always.
But that made you a better coach in the end.
I don't know.
It did. I'm gonna tell you why.
Like,
I'm gonna tell you exactly why. It makes you a better coach in the end. Here's why. You were a coach that was, because you were given so many limited things, you had to step up in such a monumental way. There's a difference when you are brought into youth coaching, right? Here's a great example that I always tell people: if you don't understand youth sports, watch Friday Night Tykes. It's a great intro to what coaches are doing, going through. I
don't know if I agree.
I'm going to tell you why, because...
But I'm listening, my bad.
I'm going to tell you why. The reason I say that is because it will give you an idea of it done very professionally by people who are unprofessional. And so that gives you one standard. Now, then that standard that me and you are talking about, when you talk about inner city youth sports, then you're talking about kids who are going out at their local parks with gentlemen with the least amount of equipment, guys who have hidden bags at their house, and guys who got helmets for 4 years ago that need to be updated. Those guys, this is the coaching staff that they're coming out with, that we barely got coaching T-shirts. We barely got hoodies type activity. When you have that level of guys coming out to coach, and they say the facility we get to practice in, or where we practice, we're not even allowed to put lines on the grass because we're in a neighborhood park. That is a different type of coaching, because now what you're doing is you're utilizing cones, you're utilizing spacing. Yep. You're trying to teach kids to visualize it. So then when game day comes, you then are reinstilling that type of information, now using what the average coach has already had the option to do. Your kids are 2 times smarter because the average coach is using I take it for granted. I want you to run to that line. You're at this line. Run from this line to that line. Turn right? And so they'll run routes a certain way. You, without that, and you have 2 cones, and you say, I want you to run from here to there. When you get there, I need you to turn left. When you turn to left, I need you to put the right foot over that spot. So you make a complete turn. Snap your head. Because you got to be looking down the barrel for the ball to come to you.
Hands up.
So as a coach, you teaching it at a different level than the person doing the exact same thing because he had different tools than you did. And so your players become sharper and better because now they see it in a different light. So I always watch inner city areas and that youth sport, whether it's basketball, football, people who, especially tennis. Tennis is amazing to me to watch inner city kids step out of that universe and become top level players because those things are harder without all the tools that you would get in suburbia. That's the reason why I said if you watch Friday Night Tykes, because that shows a large majority of professionally ran youth sports by unprofessional people. And what I mean by unprofessional people is not just their behavior, because I'm not trying to poop on them in any shape, form, or fashion. But what I'm saying is they're regular people too. That's why they're unprofessional. They're running programs. They just have a program that has enough money to facilitate them to do a lot of things, but they're still regular people. They're not professional coaches.
No.
Because you don't become a professional coach till you get paid, and even at the little guy level, you don't get paid.
No,
because even
some of them coaches,
I mean, now there is some places that do.
Some of them coaches,
and we're not talking about the dirtbag get paid.
No, but the whole, the whole.
We're not talking about stealing the money.
Because that go down sometimes from time too.
Okay,
I experienced that too. That's some nastiness. That's why I say, man, of all the negative things I've experienced over these years of being able to coach and being in a predicament to give back to the community, I always looked at it like I shouldn't be the only one. I look at Coach Roby, wonderful, wonderful man, like a big brother to me. Gave me an opportunity to just be myself and really was like, you got to do it, homeboy. You ain't got no choice here. And was like, you could do it. Same aspect, you know what I mean, of what do you really do for your community? What do you do for your brother? And I don't mean to get all into that, but at the same time, it's all relative. Because if you don't have something like a sport, I'm not just saying football, I'm saying sports in general, youth, what are you doing? What is your kid doing? Well, I'm not saying it's the only thing.
No. Here's the thing, right?
But it's like
that everything you're saying is 100%, and it falls into how many chances do you get your child to see how to be a good person? That's what you're really asking. And so you can get that through sports. You can get that through you go in drama class. You can get that through physical combat. You learn karate, you learn kung fu, jiu-jitsu, something like that. Those are the core principles of being a good person. We were talking about that before. That those things, respect, teamwork, accountability, those things that are core, they can be given to you in several different places in life. And as a kid and as a good adult, you want the kids to receive that because kids don't know they need to receive those things. No, they have no clue. And so since they don't know where to go get them. And as parents, we're trying to provide that for them. So if you in your house is teaching those things, right, that's good, but that's not enough. So then you want it reinforced. So if you're a good parent, you say, okay, I'll reinforce it with a sport. What sport do you like, kid? Oh, you like LeBron James? We in basketball. Get you some gym shoes. We out here, right? Or if you like me and you, hey, I like football. You gonna play football. All right, same thing. These are the core principles involved in that. And the dad across the street is like, hey, my son is in kung fu. Same core principles. You're trying to make them, especially when you're talking about males, you're trying to make them men. You're trying to make them be accountable men. So if I can build you into the best man, then that's what's up. And so you're using that as energy to make them that. And so me watching a man like you, the reason why I bring you on my show, the reason why I said that you were more than just a fantastic person is even within this conversation, your passion comes through.
Yeah, because, it just is what it is.
You got to love it. You got to love it.
Yeah, it just is what it is.
So I appreciate you and everything that you do. And I hope that people see that you have been putting in that work.
Man.
that grind.
I ain't going nowhere.
I know you ain't. So when I bring people on the show, I always like to ask the guest one bogus question outside of the thing that they're here for. You were here for talk about youth sports and you're giving back personally and how that affects your community.
Right.
So now I got to ask you some bogus. Hey, take you down the dirtbag road of bogusness, right?
Right.
So today's bogus question. Bum, 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 bum. Bogus shit is, have you ever been in the bar and seen someone losing their girl because she was reckless eyeballing you and you stole her?
Oh,
Like you, like they, like not necessarily that they were in a committed relationship, but you seen somebody mac a chick down, and then she seen you and was like, that looks like a better model.
yeah. It's
you
an
was
awkward.
like-
It's an awkward position to be in.
So did you do it?
Hell yeah.
Okay, I'm just curious, man. Just
You said
curious.
ain't this the dirt bags?
Yeah, that's the dirtbag section of the show. Because I like to ask people crazy dirtbag questions or hip hop questions to mess with them. So I'll answer it. I always tell people I answer the question because I don't want y'all to leave y'all hanging.
Word.
And my answer is yes too.
Yeah.
I knew your answer was gonna be yes,
Yeah.
but I wanted to see if you was gonna fess up to it because I thought you
man.
weren't, and then I was gonna force your hand. That's what I was gonna do. I was like, "What? You know damn well you have put a. I love your girl. Hey, I love your girl. I already know. I know you have pulled one because every man has. Every man has taken that opportunity to be like,
Well, you
what?
gotta take advantage, man.
What, she shooting her shot? She don't want you. You bought her 6 drinks. She bubbly and she don't want you.
Tough.
Sorry, my bag. Come on in, girl. Come on in. That's when you hit them with your sexy voice too. Hey, how you doing? How you doing, baby girl? Yeah. You want to slide back to the crib with me? I got some of that peach Ciroc. That peach calypso, girl. That right there. My friends call that the panty dropper. Trying to tell you, bro. That drink right there, man. So that's pretty much it, bro. I really do deeply from the bottom of my heart appreciate you coming on my show. As I tell every guest that comes on, I appreciate you guys because you gave me the opportunity to do what I love to do, which is talk shit to people who have great conversation and deserve a spotlight shot on them. So, Mr. Jeremy Glasco, thank you very much for coming to the show.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Oh man, I'm definitely gonna have you back. I have some projects that I think your expertise and intelligence would be useful for. So without anything else, it's been your boy, Simon Phoenix. This has been Shots Fired. I holla. Peace.